I have an update about the energy surrounding the series finale of the United States, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to share it just because we're all talking about the healthcare CEO right now. But I just keep getting this intuitive inclination to talk about it, so here it is. The powers that be have really had individuals caught up in money making schemes for themselves, really since the 70s. And the energetic underpinning for that has gone away. Its peak was really the election of Trump. And in that, we sort of gave a huge thumbs up to gaining wealth and screwing other people over. And what I'm seeing in the energy now is people are realizing that that is not a worthy pursuit anymore because it's a fixed game. And so it feels like in those old Roadrunner cartoons where the Roadrunner would be like dangling in the air, like he was still running, but there was nothing underneath him. That's what the economy feels like. It feels like it is floating, but about to fall. And I had said previously that I think it's going to take about 2 years for the economy to decline. It really seems now like it does start to decline next year, and then it is sort of pulled down faster than it would normally fall by the tariffs. I've also said before, I think we're going to have universal healthcare by 2028, and I just want to reiterate that because it feels strong. I want you to know that the power is with the people, and because of that, you are going to see a lot of force from the government coming up. We're going to see our police militarized like never before. And that will be fascinating because all it will do is further radicalize the populace against their own government. I don't think that we are going to have French Revolution levels of sort of going after our government officials. As we've become technologically advanced, you can see how all things, especially war and conflict, become quieter and more silent and more structurally violent. This revolution will contain protests in the streets, don't get me wrong, but it's much more like quiet quitting than the last American Revolution. The billionaires and the people in power stand on the shoulders of the people who would go out and work at their jobs. Because of technological advances with AI specifically, it feels like a lot of those jobs are just not going to be there. And it feels like everybody kind of on the same bus. Similar to how we felt in 2020 when we were all at home and realizing that our livelihoods were so brittle and time is going to move so incredibly quickly. Things are going to change on a dime in a way that you never thought they could. People have talked to me over and over again about being worried about their personal money. I promise you that you have already gone through the worst economic depression in your life. And what is coming forth is very different than what you've ever experienced. One of the trade-offs that we've gotten to have by having a quiet and docile last 50 years is that we didn't have to leave our houses and organize and walk off the beaten path. We got to follow the rules and we got to stay home and watch Netflix. But also our wealth and our healthcare and our sanity was slowly stripped from us. So we get to get back a lot of those things, but it's going to take some initiative on the individual level to make a different decision. And no doubt your burnout has already brought you to that point where you're kind of ready to make that decision. The economic reality that is coming through is a transfer of wealth and power to those who have not classically had it. Again, with the technology that's coming in, it is an incredible equalizer. It gives people with fewer resources the abilities that people with high resources have. People have been saying, why is Trump being so quiet? I actually think he's very tired, and I think that he's very sick of doing this, and I don't think that he wanted to be the president. I actually think he wanted to stay out of jail. And the people who are in his cabinet will still hold the mantle of all the things that he wanted to do. But I think a lot of those efforts are just going to be kind of half-assed with no energy behind them. Most of the energy that Trump is going to be using during the administration is to try and push back the general populace from asking for more economic security and respect of rights. And I'm feeling this so much more globally than I initially was. The major turn in this 4 years is that the world stops respecting the US as the global currency exchange, and sort of the exporter of this brand of neoliberal capitalism. It feels like every country around the earth who has taken on this economic system, standing back and going, wow, it's really not working. And by virtue of that, not respecting the US and looking to it like a big brother, like it used to, and kind of going, no, we're not going to trade with you anymore. And the US will kind of become self-reflective and look at its attitude that it has been bullying the world. And now that people don't have to do business with the bully because the bully is weakening from the inside, it doesn't fare too well for the US. And there's kind of a scrambling of like, oh shit, how are we gonna take care of ourselves on our own soil? I do not feel at any point that we are going to be food insecure. I think that we are deeply going to be in community and taking care of each other like never before.